Kanye, my favorite rapper right now. Kanye has 14 albums at the time of making this video. I'm here to rate all of his albums in order from worst to best. I won't count his collab albums because I think this video should be about Kanye only. I also cannot count Donda 2 because I can't afford to pay $200 to listen to it, but it'll probably be at the bottom. Side note, this is my opinion. I'm not wrong because I have terrible opinions on music. Alright, let's get on to the first album.
How you get so much favor on your side? Accept them as your Lord and Savior, I replied. That should love that neighbor, not divide. I'm a ride, that's on God.
Kanye's ninth solo album, Jesus is King, isn't very good. I feel disconnected from this album when I listen to it. I can't get used to the Christian element inside of the lyrics. I do believe this album has good songs, but I still think this is his worst album. I believe this album could have been better if Kanye spent more time on the flow of his lyrics. Even then, the album feels off and unlike Kanye. I'd rate it a decent 4 out of 10, with my favorite song being On God. Let's get on to number 9.
In the night, I hear him talk, the cold story ever told. Somewhere far along this road, he lost his soul to a woman so heartless.
One of my most controversial takes, 808s and Heartbreaks is number 9 on my list. I can see why people think this is good because it enters new territories with the singing, but it just doesn't stand up to the other Kanye albums. This album captures the emotion and wants the listener to feel, but it isn't exciting to listen to. I believe he accomplished his goal with his storytelling, but I think the next albums are better. I'd rate it a decent 5 out of 10, with my favorite song being Heartless, because it's so catchy. From here on out, I really like the next albums. Let's go to number 8.
Someday I wanna wear a star.
This album has good songs, and I think it captures Kanye's bipolar disorder. All the songs on this album are good, especially Ghost Town. There isn't much to explain except for the emotions you feel during the album. I give this album a 7 out of 10. My favorite songs are Yikes, Violent Crimes, and Ghost Town. On to number 7.
Tell me if you know someone that needs Jesus.
I believe Kanye perfectly blended religion and rap in this album. This album is really good compared to his albums after The Life of Pablo. Unlike what others say, I believe this album's length complements the album because of how many good songs it has. I'll give this a strong 7 out of 10. My favorite songs are Junior, Hurricane, and Off the Grid. After this, all albums listed are great albums that you should listen to.
You motherfuckers better do your job and roll up and watch how we roll up and I can't control it, can't hold it, it's so nuts. I take a sip of that yak, I wanna fuck. I take a hit of that chronic, you got me stuck.
I wish I could rank this album higher because this album is so good. The jazz incorporated in this rap album sounds so good in my ears. The song bringing this album down though are Addiction, Bring Me Down, and My Way Home. All the other songs are songs I would listen to rather than any Drake song. I'd rate this a decent 8 out of 10, and my favorite songs are Heard Him Say, Gone, and Hey Mama.
Turn it up! Turn it up! Step up in this bitch like turn it up!
There's so much to say about this album. This album gives me so much hype when I listen to it. The songs Part 2, Normal Parties in LA, Famous, and Highlights make this album have this intensity it needs. Ultralight Beam, Waves, Wolves, St. Pablo, and 30 Hours blended to the album perfectly, giving it this calming sensation while keeping its hype. Although the interludes may come off as unnecessary, this album is still one of the greatest albums. I give this a low 9 out of 10. My favorite songs are No More Parties in LA, St. Pablo, and Waves. On to number 4. Look, when people say this album is an experiment that wasn't really good, I would like to counter that by showing them the track record. This album has Blood on the Leaves, Black Skinhead, On-Site, Bound 2, I'm In It, Hold My Liquor, Guilt Trip, and New Saves. This album seems almost perfect to me, except for I Am a God and Send It Up. Tech sound has grown on me very well, and I learned to enjoy it for its experimentation into new territory. This album was way ahead of its time, and it tells the story of consumerism and finding peace. Overall, this is a decent 9 out of 10. My favorite songs are Black Skinhead, New Saves, Bound 2. Let's get to the top 3.
Damn. Here we go again. time and passed on this beat, I made it to a jam. And everything I'm not made me everything I am.
Sometimes I feel like I'm making these albums too, though. I think that Graduation is one of the greatest albums of all time. The synthy sound and the use of samples make this album almost perfect. Some people think that Drunken Hot Girls and Barry Bonds ruined this album, but I disagree. I still like those two songs, but I can see that the other songs are just much better. I Wonder just feels so smooth, and It Can't Tell Me Nothing is what I imagine as a hype song. I would rate this as a 10 out of 10. My favorite songs are Can't Tell Me Nothing, I Wonder, and Homecoming. The next two albums are albums I think are perfect. Let's get to number 2. Every song on this album is amazing. This album was made at the lowest point of Kanye's career after the Taylor Swift incident. He knew that if this album wasn't good, he would have to quit rapping. This album succeeded in showing the world the genius of Kanye West again. I think that this album has one of the greatest track records of all time. Each song feels completely different from the rest, which gives the album the uniqueness it needs to express the emotions Kanye wants us to feel. From Dark Fantasy to Lost in the World, it feels uncanny how good the album is. The song feels like the drop of a roller coaster. It's so thrilling, you can't even explain it. This album is a high 10 out of 10, and it should be impossible to have a greater album than this. But somehow Kanye managed to make something so great that I can't even explain it.
Sing. And all my people that's drug dealing just to get by, stack your money till it gets sky high.
Before Kanye started rapping, he was a producer. He made beats. Kanye expressed that he wanted to become a rapper. No one believed that he had the potential. Then, Kanye dropped the College Dropout. This was the first album I ever tried to listen to, before I even knew albums existed. I always thought that artists just dropped random songs and hoped that they would become hits. This album has kept a special place in my heart because I felt fresh when listening to it. I think this album gets better every listen, like most albums, but this album is completely stuck to me. Through the Wire is inspirational. Get 'Em High has this insane flow I try to mimic. All Falls Down almost seems perfect to me. It seems to never get worse after every listen. My favorite songs are two words, All Falls Down and Through the Wire. This album is an 11 out of 10, which isn't a valid ranking, but that's just how I feel about it. Besides, it's my opinion. That was a long video. I think all my album rankings were controversial, but I don't really care. It's my opinion. If you stuck around, thanks. I hope you liked the video. I put some work into it. Probably don't subscribe since I don't upload regularly. Peace.